Welcome everybody to episode 73 of UnHacked. Guys, I say week after week, usually in my introductions, but we recorded yesterday. So no lies, I'm tired, but here we are. We're going to do back-to-back episodes, and today we've got a little bit of a barn burner. Get on your technical hats, guys. We're talking to business owners, but we are going to get in the weeds a little bit today. But the outcome is what's most important. We are here today to talk about how to protect your business in this crazy exploding world of all things AI. So with that, let's go ahead and start with some introductions. I am Justin Shelley, CEO of Phoenix IT Advisors. I help companies build wealth using technology and then help them protect that wealth from all the nefarious hackers out there, specifically the Russians. Mario comes in with the Chinese. I think Bryan covers the rest of them. But between the three of us, we got the whole world covered. But that's not enough. So we have to go after, protecting from government fines and penalties and class action lawsuits. And over and over, we're just getting it handed to us from all sides. So we're here to help you with that. And I am here, as always, with my good friends and co-hosts, Mario and Bryan. In that order, guys, tell everybody who you are, what you do, and who you do it for.
Thank you, Justin. Mario Zaki, CEO of Mastech IT, located in New Jersey, right outside of Manhattan. We've been in business for 21 years now. We help small to medium-sized businesses stay safe from all those hackers that Justin just mentioned, and we specialize in helping business owners sleep better at night, knowing their businesses are safe the next morning.
Love it. Love it, Bryan.
I'm just going to say ditto. No, I'm kidding.
Check.
All right, my name is Bryan Lachapelle with B4 Networks. We're based out of Niagara area in Ontario, Canada, and we help, specifically my team and I help business owners deal with the frustrations and problems that comes with dealing with technology, and we do that by applying all standardized systems and processes to make things a lot easier.
Perfect. All right, guys. Time to introduce the guests. So, guys, I have been practicing, and I'm not any better than when I started, so I am going to spell our guest's name today. Faiz Gouri. Did I get that part right?
Yes, you did. Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
100%. I'm really happy. I've been saying Faiz, and I think if you pronounce it correctly, it's slightly different from that, and Gouri or something, and I know I've slaughtered it. So Faiz, go ahead and pronounce your name properly for us.
Thanks, Justin. Yeah, you're almost there, actually. So, hi, my name is Faiz Gouri, and I'm a lead software engineer. I have over 15 years of experience. I work in back-end development in tech. Started my career in India, then came here in USA about 11 years ago, more than a decade ago. Right now, my specialty is I work with AI and machine learning tools. Also, my specialty is also to help organizations save money by kind of optimizing their system, and also
Perfect.
make sure that all the company data is secure.
I love it because listen, in our world, we have to talk a lot with business owners about why it's important to spend money on technology, and sometimes it is hard to directly tie that to increase in revenue or decrease in costs. And so we'll have to pick your brain there. It sounds like you've got some experience. And Faiz, you left out the company you work for. I'll save all the jokes I've heard about it, but at least give us the name.
Yeah. So I work at Microsoft. I've been here for about 7 years.
7 years at Microsoft. So I'm kind of I'm a wannabe / wish I were, I guess that's the same thing, coder, developer. That's what got me into technology back when I was a kid, is I loved to write code. I dreamed that I would be writing code and building everything new in the world. By this point in life, it didn't go that way. However, I will say that AI has kind of rekindled that love for me. And I dabble with code now, but I don't really write it. I just say, hey, AI, do this for me, and then I go look through it and see how cool it is. That's my claim with writing code these days. So I love talking to developers. It's like I said, it's a love of mine, an unrealized passion. So looking forward to this. That really caught my attention. I'm
just want to say,
thrilled to talk.
90% of coders are doing exactly the same thing.
Oh, I know. But I wrap myself out, so it is what it is.
I started coding in college, and in the very beginning, I was very into it. and then programming just drove me nuts when I put like a comma instead of a period, and I stared at it for like 3 days and I couldn't figure it out. And at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I can't deal with this shit anymore. And I switched majors just because of a little comma that I had inserted.
And the irony is now you could take that entire code, send it to AI, and it'd be like, here's your comma.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And my story is the exact opposite. I was actually going to school for electrical engineering and was required to take a computer science, CS 101 class. And my professor pulled me aside and was like, dude, what the hell are you doing in electrical engineering? You need to switch your major to computer science. So I did. We'll save the rest of that story because it doesn't end the way we would all expect. Anyways, Faiz, let's talk about, when we did our little strategy session, we'll call it. You mentioned MCP, which Bryan correctly identified as a Microsoft certification, Microsoft certified partner. Tell us a little bit more about the MCP program and what it is.
It's slightly more popular than Microsoft Certified Professional. So in current norm,
professional,
MCP...
not partner.
Okay, professional, yeah.
It was wrong all the way around. So anyways, tell us what MCP really means.
You got the Microsoft part right.
Right.
Yeah, so it's the full form is Model Context Protocol. So it's basically you can say, as I think Justin, you yourself mentioned, it's kind of USB drive that plugs AI into your own data. So if I have to tell you in a very layman terms, if you talk to AI, like Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, it does not have your information. Like, you can ask it anything about the whole world that this AI is trained on. So it knows about everything. Who is the president of United States? Although sometimes it tells wrong, it gives you wrong information also. But you can ask it everything, but not something that your personal data. Because obviously you didn't provide it the data. So what if a small organization, or in fact a big organization, want to leverage this AI for their customers? For example, let's take an example of hospital. A small hospital or a pharmacy. Let's take example of hospital only. I had my annual visit of the doctor's visit, and I can see in my chart, I can see all my results, but those are like all foreign language to me. What does the hemoglobin 160 to 180 mean? Although it gives me range, hey, this is the healthy range and this is your data. But what if it can, speak to me in natural language, and I can ask questions like, hey, my, cholesterol is 150, this time. What is a normal range? And can you pull the data for last year also? So right now, it doesn't have this information. So this is what MCP does. If you plug AI to your own data, in this example, it's a hospital which has my data, my health data.
Right.
Then I can ask all these questions on my data in natural language. So this is what MCP does. You don't need to write fancy code or anything. You don't need to create your own chat GPT, basically. So you can use the existing chat GPT or the Claude or the existing AI agent to hook it up to your own database, and then you can ask question to your own database. So yeah, this is what MCP is.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, if I ran a manufacturing plant and I had all my data in there, I could ask it, connect it to my data and say, how many cars did we produce last week, and
Correct.
how many did we produce the week before?
Absolutely. Yes.
And what was, based on the data, how fast were we able to get certain components installed, or whatever's in the database. You can ask it questions in natural language, and it will extract the data and do all the calculations and everything for you.
You don't need to be database expert, or you don't need to be like API expert to ask the question to your data. When a CEO or person like HR professional can just go and ask those questions what you mentioned. How many cars did we sell? What are the profit and all? So yeah.
Right. How many people did we hire last month or last year? How many of those people made it through?
In this time, I think the more appropriate question would be, how many people did we fire last year?
Jesus, no kidding, right? Oh God.
Yeah.
But now, see, in Bryan's example, he has access to the data right away.
Yeah.
In your example, you would require to download your data and be constantly downloading it, like after every exam or something like that. Wouldn't it be better if the hospital,
Mhm.
portal has this built in. You just log in and they kind of have their own
Correct. So,
platform that
mhm.
says, hey, what was my A1C the last couple tests? Am I getting better? What should I do differently and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So it has to be built on the server side. It has to be built by the data owner. So data owner is the hospital. I'm just a user. So hospital has to build this functionality. They need to build the MCP server on their own hospital database, all the database of all the patients, and then, a user or a patient can use this data and leverage AI to ask questions and get some health tips and some recommendations. So yeah, I'm just a user. I'm not building this thing as a patient. It's just a hospital,
Right.
people who own the data.
So let's talk about security, because that's
Mhm.
kind of what we're
Yeah.
here for.
Yeah.
This is what comes up over and over where AI is concerned. Is you start feeding it information, it ingests that, and then it spits it out to the whole world. Talk about guardrails? Talk about how MCP keeps the data contained so that only the right people can access it.
Yeah. So MCP usually keep your data secure. So most just going to be a little technical, but the best way to use MCP is through APIs. On your data.
Mhm.
You have APIs to get, hey, for example, in Brian's example, hey, there are some API in your car manufacturing company that returns the number of cars sold. You can ask, hey, get cars sold or something last month. So you pass some parameters. But MCP connect those API and then fetch this data and return in the very meaningful, natural language. Hey, we sold like 50 cars last year or last month. So there are a bunch of ways that we can kind of or the hackers kind of infiltrate and misuse this information. One of the most common is like kind of prompt engineering. You must have be
Right.
aware of prompt engineering. So if they pass some malicious prompt, like for example, okay, so one more thing, MCP not just return you data or ask, you can ask question. You through MCP you can create AI agent that you can work do a task also. Let AI do the task on your behalf. Basically like updating your database also. For example,
Okay.
as a car manufacturing part, let's say the the showroom owner sitting there, they can say, hey, we sold 50 cars, can you insert into our database, so things like that. So it can update database also, it can do certain tasks also. So the malicious prompt engineering, through a hacker, through malicious prompt, they can ask, hey, can you delete Faz data from database, or can you update Faz hemoglobin level to 200, something like this. We have like MCP has to be, usually MCP is smart enough to tackle all this stuff, but we have to be very careful about, who we are authorizing to do what. So authorization is very important in MCP. Like it must have some, again, some technical term, but like role-based access. So like we have to decide roles, like who can perform certain type of actions, like manipulating the data, writing to the database or things like that. But and who can access what data. For example, especially in terms of like when we are working with very sensitive data like patient data in a hospital, who can access fast data? It has to be either the provider who's seeing me, or just the patient himself or herself. So yeah, those are the things we have to manage through authorization. Have proper like Azure based authorization or any authorization the MCP can use, and also like role based access, like who can perform what. So one of the
And that's done at the
yeah,
MCP level.
yes, that's at the MCP service or
Okay.
the server level. Yeah, have to provide all this.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure that like prompt is one of the very common example where it can get very serious. Like you can ask is, hey, can you delete this data, or maybe manipulate something. Can you set the price of the car sold to 2,000 rather than maybe 50,000? So yeah, have to be very careful about those security concerns. Yeah.
That's
Fair
handled
enough.
in the setup when you connect all this stuff. Does it does it also prevent the AI engine, the LLM or whatever, from training on and having that become part of the model in future releases? Because I know that's something that comes up quite a bit as well.
That's a very good question. Yes. So MCP has been very vocal about that. It's not going to use your data to train its own AI model.
Okay.
Yeah, there's clear guidance over there. So unless they are lying. So
Unless they're lying, yeah.
yeah.
Who knows?
Who does that? Nobody's ever done that before.
So, I mean, the thing is, I feel like at some point there's going to be a vulnerability somewhere. Like we see it everywhere. There's going to be a vulnerability somewhere, and this is uh, if or when that happens, what is the end result?
So if some security breach happens, that's what you're asking, right? Through MCP.
Mm,
As I mentioned, I think most of the very known issues are very well taken care of the MCP by itself. But also, when you enable MCP to your own data, you need to take certain precautions to make sure that doesn't happen. But if it does, then it's again the same thing as somebody got access to your database and delete something. So it's just like that. It has nothing special with AI, but something similar to when hacker, trying to, and hackers are very smart. They can access, when they can access the US government data, they can access everything. So uh, it's just that you have to be precautious. Another approach is, keep logging everything. So how it helps is, if you have logs or traces or everything that's going on in your system, you can monitor those things, and then again using AI. I don't want to use, but using AI to kind of uh, uh, in the real time scan these logs and then proactively alert you if something fishy happens. So that's another approach.
Okay. So now I warned everybody about this, but now we've got to take this down out of the technical weeds
Yeah.
and speak in terms of, just talk to me, a business owner of any random industry. And what I just heard is a whole bunch of shit that I don't need to know about. Right. Like, so why does it matter to me that this exists? And let's just say I have I don't know. I'm a vet. I'm a veterinarian, right? I've got this little vet clinic. There's 10 people that work for me. Is there any practical application for this in my world?
For sure, yeah, it's for everyone. So let's take the veterinary example. So if you have the veterinary clinic, you can have, you definitely you'll have the data of all the pets that that comes to you, all the I would call them maybe patient or all the pets. But let's say the users, the one of the very good example for business owner is that their customer can talk to some, it's actually AI, not a person, but they can talk to the system through in natural language without worrying about all the system things and all the stuff. They can just talk to natural language. They can get all the technical answers or all these jargons that they may use. For example, for the vet clinic, if I own a, let's say, cat, I can see all the history of the the vaccination for my cat, and I can ask in the natural language, hey, when the next vaccination is due, without waiting for the clinic to open, veterinary clinic to open, without um, like, so it works 24/7 basically. I don't need to wait
So how would
for a
I,
call.
again, not being a technical individual,
Yeah.
I want this in my practice.
Mm.
It sounds great. What's my first step? How do I even go about setting this up?
I have to be a little technical to set this up actually. So
So I
first
need
step
a
would be maybe
consultant.
hire a consultant. Yes. First step would be to hire
Okay.
a consultant.
Tell me this. Were you involved in the development of this protocol?
No, I was not. I wish I were. Yeah.
Okay. Just something that you're very familiar with
Yes.
and see the value in it. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, interesting. I tell you this, I have always loved the world of technology because it constantly changes and evolves. But holy hell, has that I mean, it almost stagnated for a while, right? It used to be we're waiting for the next processor to come out. Oh my God, the i5 just came out. We're so excited. Or back in the day, we go back farther, the MMX. You guys remember the MMX processors?
Oh my God.
The MMX technology, I guess. It was just like we're always waiting for new developments. And, I got to a point where I'm just like, at what point is it enough? And this was before it became enough. It was like, we've gotten to where the computers do everything we need them to do. And then sadly, that prediction became true. And I honestly started getting a little bit bored with technology because it was just the same thing. Good Lord, has
Now you
AI,
can't even keep up.
oh my God, it has rekindled all of that, both passion and excitement and complete sheer overwhelm.
Yep.
So this is another example. And honestly, Faiz, maybe correct me if I'm oversimplifying this, but it seems like this is another approach to what a lot of people are trying to solve. Is that fair?
Not solve, but actually leverage. So MCP solved a lot
Okay.
of problem, that came with AI. So when like ChatGPT or the LLM were introduced like maybe 4 years ago, one of the major challenges for the organization was how they can use this tool into their own system. Like it
Right.
knows
Yeah.
everything about the world, but what if, like, for example, like veterinary clinic, how I can use this same tool so that my users can chat in natural language, or even now the AI is so smart, you can speak to it, and then you can get the very natural language answer, through speaking also, or the typing your answers, rather than they need to worry about all the, for example, hospital link, my chart. I need to understand what the cholesterol level, healthy cholesterol level is, what's unhealthy, what is the history of my cholesterol level 5 years down the line. Can you see the trend analysis? So all the questions you can ask through MCP, because, and I can say, can you draw the chart of my cholesterol level, my weight gain, and you can kind of relate this data. It's smart enough to do that. Can you relate all my health data in last 5 years and provide me some recommendation? So it's smart enough to do that. It will provide me some recommendation.
Gotcha.
Hey, you gained some 50 pound, like 50 pound of weight. Maybe you need to cool down on your red meat. So it's very smart enough to
Hey
do that.
now,
So
hey, let's talk like that.
Whoa.
We're keeping
whoa.
this show G-rated. Keep that down. Good Lord.
Yeah. That's like a swear word around here.
Oh, it's worse than a swear word. I like swear words, but I won't talk like that. Well, listen, this is, I'll be honest, I didn't know anything about this before you and I first chatted, and I am now wildly intrigued. I won't lie. I've been kind of scrolling through the website as we talked, and I'm seeing all kinds of code that I can nerd out on. And I am looking for ways that I can take this back to my clients and make their worlds better. So, um, I'm pretty excited about this, honestly, guys. I want to ask your take on it as well, Mario, Bryan. I think this is relatively new for you as well.
Yeah.
Talk about it, Mario. You go first, and then Bryan. What do you think about all this?
I mean, just like everything AI, this is a game changer. It really elevates the ability that you're able to do with information. It even provides you with stuff that you don't even know that was there. You may end up looking at something and never even realize that something is pretty concerning, or even like seeing a trend, something rising that maybe not being flare, like at a major point, and staying in like the medical field. Um, I'm sure AI will kind of bring it to your attention. You're like, hey, by the way, your last couple tests, I've noticed this. You may want to get further testing done, or in other examples, like, hey, we're seeing a trend in your database, your manufacturing. Hey, this car is selling a lot better than the other ones. You're losing money on this. So it's definitely going to point out stuff that nobody may have thought about it for a while. So you can be on top of stuff a lot sooner.
Yeah, Bryan.
Well, it sounds to me like this is a bridge between data and AI, and being able to access your data. So I'll give you an example. I have a lot of metrics in my business. I track a lot of metrics in my business, but it's all got to be programmed by a programmer. Somebody's got to develop an integration with our database figure out how to extract that data and produce a report and or gauges on a wall, which we have a lot of those. But it sounds to me, if I'm correctly understanding this, if I connected my data, I can then just ask questions of the data, of the AI, and it will go fetch the information out of the database and do the natural language processing to figure out what it is I'm asking, figure out how to extract that data, and then present it in a way that makes sense. And then using the rest of the AI model, allow me to analyze that data and do things with it, right? So it sounds to me like instead of me going, hey, Brandon, who's one of my programmers, develop me I need this data. I need you to create me a gauge that shows me this data. I can just connect the AI through MCP into a database and say to the AI, hey, I'm curious how many tickets I got last month. And it would be like, oh, you got this many. Oh, how many of those were alerts and how many of those were client initiated? And it would be like, oh, well, here you go. Here's the information. Without having to have a programmer in between
So
programming
what are
it
you
out.
going to
So
do with
as a
Brendan?
business owner, yeah. As a business owner, it sounds to me like I could use this internally to start analyzing data in my business. But more importantly, if I have customers, I can then expose this to my customers, and my customers can now go to an AI and also ask it, how many tickets did I specifically put in for my company? And it would go into my database live, grab the information, and present it to them in a way that makes sense for them. So I guess from my perspective, like if I were a business, MCP is the ability for me to get data either for myself and or for my clients, and in a way that doesn't require me to have to constantly be changing the reports and how to extract that data. The AI would figure it out on its own.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think the Mario's analogy, like for the car, car owners, or the car showroom owner, they can ask all the question in natural language. How many cars did we sell? And AI is very smart enough to give you the pattern also. Hey, which model did we sell the most? And you can, hey, can you give me like, why those, why could those cars not sold? And it has all the data about your cars. Hey, maybe those cars were not, for example, let's take Tesla's example. I know, like, hey, we sold most of the Model Y because it's a SUV, it's within the range, or like it's very affordable car. It's it qualified for the EV tax credit also. Why didn't we sell Model X? Because it's the same thing as Model Y, just a little bit better, but it's like double the price. It also doesn't qualify for the EV tax credit. So things like that, so it can give you all the answer, all the analytics also. You can use all the analytics through natural language without hiring a special person doing the stuff, which will take a person to do it in maybe a week. You can do it in seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, probably even start analyzing trending data, like,
Correct.
What repairs do I have to make to my cars, and when were they mostly manufactured? If all the
Correct.
repairs are because somebody's on a Friday and they're manufactured on a Friday, now we've got a
Absolutely.
Friday problem, right?
Yep.
So interesting. So I think there's a lot of applications from a perspective of a business owner. If you're trying to get data out to your customers,
Yeah.
this is a good way to do it. And if you're trying to get data for yourself to be able to analyze different trends and information in your data, holy crap! I mean, this stuff is invaluable.
So
How do we
talk
get
to
started?
me. Yeah, exactly. So I want to talk about limitations, if any. And I do a lot in healthcare. So let's say there's you've got web-based applications, you've got server-based. Some of them run SQL Server, but for example, Athena, we've got MedInformatics, we've got Dentrix. Are all of these products accessible, or are there limitations on what we can connect to and what we cannot connect to?
So it's the responsibility is on the data owner. What data you want to connect to the AI. So it basically, in the beginning, you mentioned very good analogy about the USB drive. So MCP is just the USB drive on your data. So so you can hook it up with any data you want, but you have to be very careful which data you want to hook it up to, and also need to make sure that you create some role-based access. So for the healthcare, healthcare industry, they need to make sure that no person can use this data, which is he or she is not authorized to. For example, I as a patient can only access my data, not any other data.
Right.
Yeah.
So I get that. But I'm asking, like, are there programs or are there applications or are there data sets out there? Because you say the owner of it, but really who owns it? it's my information that I put in, but it's somebody else's system. How do I connect to their system if I want to go ahead and use my data that lives in their world?
So generally, yeah, you as a user, you can't do that. It has to be done by the data
Through a
owner, the
consultant or
system.
whatever.
Yeah.
Is it? Are we?
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little technical now. Are we talking?
Yeah.
We just does it just tie in through API? Do you have to have direct connection and access to a SQL database? Where in the world does it not penetrate? Does that make any sense? Like,
I think he said it needs an API.
Yes.
Is everything
So
through
the
API?
Yes, generally through APIs. Yes.
Okay.
Most of the time, yes, through
Good.
API. So if you have access to
which
the
most
APIs,
things
yes.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most products have some sort of an API.
Yep.
Will it? Is there a way to interface directly with a locally hosted SQL server, for example?
No. If you don't have access to the locally host, like those server, then yeah, no.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. The access
Well,
level
I've got some.
same. Yeah.
I've got some homework. That's all I know, because I've got questions and I can go on forever. It will get technical. I think I'm going to be hooking AI up to this website, which, by the way, is called modelcontextprotocol.io, and I'm going to have AI teach me everything it knows or can learn about this product.
So the biggest actually challenge that it solves is, as I mentioned, 4 or 5 years ago when the Chat GPT was introduced, so did the other like LLM tools like Gemini and Claude, from other companies. The biggest problem was I, as a user, I can upload certain files and documents. Let's say I have my own PDF or some Word document. I can upload it there and I can ask question on my data. But there was a limit, there was, you mentioned, you remember, if there's a token limit, you only use 2000 tokens or something like that, right? So you cannot upload, let's say 1 terabyte of SQL server and then ask question to the Chat GPT. So this is what MCP does. Now you can connect to like terabytes of data to it, and then you can ask questions in natural language. That's the biggest gap, it fills.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
in a very simple way. There were options to do that earlier, like you have to train AI on your own data, which will take like some time to build the system. But now it's like plug and play. Yeah.
And dynamic, because the database is changing live.
Exactly.
So yeah. Excellent.
You just ruined my weekend. Thank you for that, because now I'm going to be sitting here playing with this all weekend. I have more than enough to blow my brain, so we're gonna kind of wrap up. We'll go around the room, and any final thoughts, key takeaways, anything else you want to say, this is your chance, and then we're gonna wrap up so I can go play. Bryan, we'll start with you, and then Mario, and then Faiz. We'll go ahead and have you bring it home for us.
Sure. I guess from my perspective, what I just wanted to mention is that this is like the purpose of this webinar or this podcast was more to introduce clients to the possibility, or business owners, the possibility of how to access your data in different ways. MCP gives us the ability to, obviously with the help of a consultant, put in place a system that allows you to integrate your database with an AI so that you or your clients can access that data. And so reach out to one of us and maybe we'll have the answers by the time you reach out to us on how we can integrate your data with AI.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to have those answers by Monday. Mario, what do you got?
I mean, there was a lot to kind of uncover in this one, and I know we tried to really not go too technical, but for the average, besides using a consultant, like where is the average person start with? Like where does, where's their direction that they kind of see, what they can do, or is there certain people that specializes in doing this?
I think interestingly, average person directly go to AI and ask this question: hey, I have this system, I want to use MCP, what are the steps? I'm a non-technical person, give me steps in the layman terms. What step do I need to follow to allow using MCP on my data? I own this industry, how do I proceed with it? And it will give you some very high level steps for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's becoming the answer these days, right? Go ask AI, it'll tell you.
AI, how do I use you?
All right, Faiz, what else? What's your final sign off, final information for us today?
Final information is again, it's very interesting and it bridges the gap between your data and the AI. It's a very useful tool. Definitely solves ton of problems, which human would take maybe months or years to solve. But the only thing is that you have to be very precautious about the security. If you own the sensitive data, make sure that it's remains secure and no bad person can use AI to kind of access the data that they should not.
Yeah, it's so. That is the terrifying part about the world we're in right now. I said things had kind of stabilized, and honestly, the world of security was starting to get a little bit. I don't know if boring's the right answer, but it's the same thing. We did this podcast for a year where we were breaking down breaches. We're talking about headlines, and to me, it felt like we're just repeating the same stuff. And now it's like, oh my God, there's a whole new world we have to figure out and fast, because this stuff is it's moving fast. And unfortunately, it's moving faster than we are securing it. So that I guess would be my key takeaway today is there is some really cool shit out there, guys. Go use it, go play with it. But please, 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 cover your bases. Get somebody to look over your shoulder and make sure this stuff is being done the right way and being done securely. Right. Because the more we open this stuff up, we talk about the threat surface, or what was that? No, I'm blanking on that. But the target on our backs just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And damn, this is security is just becoming more and more important. So that's what I've got. Cover your bases always, but it's a crazy world. Go out and figure out how to make more money, because that is what technology is doing for us now. And it got stale, and it wasn't doing that for a long time, or at least it was doing it the same way. It was boring. Guys, we've given our final thoughts, key takeaways. It's time. We're going to wrap up for this week. We're going to say a couple short goodbyes, and then we'll come back. We got us Americans anyways have a Thanksgiving holiday coming up next week. So we won't be recording next week, but we'll be releasing one because we recorded twice this week. Anyways, unhackmybusiness.com for today's show notes, guest links, free resources, or just while you're looking at your phone, listen to the podcast, go flip over the details, and you're going to have all the links to this cool MCP protocol that we're talking about. We'll have, Faiz, I think you wanted your LinkedIn profile on there. Is that accurate? How would you like people to contact you if they'd like to?
Yeah, LinkedIn is the most accurate, yeah.
Okay, so we'll put LinkedIn on there, and we'll put Bryan and Mario as always. So go ahead and reach out to any one of us if you have any further questions. With that, final goodbyes. Bryan, what do you got?
Well, if you're a business owner and you're looking for someone to help you through your journey on everything from AI to security to just improving your business using technology, reach out to us and we'll give you a hand.
All right, Mario.
Well, if you can't sleep at night because you're worried about your business, because you think AI is going to take over, give us a call and we'll help you out.
It already did. And Faiz, what's your final, say goodbye?
Yeah, if you're a business owner, please reach out to these guys. And if you have more technical questions, just, connect me on LinkedIn.
Now you got access to a senior level Microsoft engineer. You're welcome. Guys, and I am Justin. Remember, listening, take action, and keep your businesses unhacked. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Cheers.